So as we say, we welcome all of our distinguished guests here this evening. Our minister, who has just come in and looking extra beautiful this evening, and thank you very, very much for being with us and in such distinguished company as well. We'd like to welcome our guest speaker this evening, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from her a little bit later on, Dr. Seipati Makonyane, and she'll be talking to us. Former First Lady, Dr. Bongi Ngema Zuma, who's been a great supporter for all these years of the Women in Science Awards, and once again we welcome her here this evening and we thank her for her presence. The Director General of Science and Technology, Dr. Phil Mjwaka, ambassadors and high commissioners, welcome to you too. Representatives of our award sponsors for this evening, as always, great friends of the South African Women in Science Awards, Tata Africa, as well as L'Oreal, who are product sponsors. And I saw some of the women being made up in the special room over there. I'm not sure what invitation you get. I didn't get that invitation, but I'll have to speak to the people in the know next time. But it's so nice to be pampered and spoiled, and I hope you enjoyed that. And thank you very much to L'Oreal for that. So other VIPs present, all our finalists, and just everybody, welcome to this evening. And what a special, special evening it is to be present here at the South African Women in Science Awards. Now, you'll notice that I'm sort of changing the name around a little bit because for the first time this year, this award ceremony has always been known as the WISA Awards, the Women in Science Awards. But apparently there's a water award ceremony that shares the same name. So being as gracious as the Department of Science are, and as respectful as women are, we decided, actually, you know what? Let's call it the South African Women in Science Awards, which in my opinion's got an even better ring to it. So yeah, this is a brand new name for the same awards, awards that celebrate the most incredible women in this industry. And I say that over and over again because since 2003, these awards have been around to celebrate women in sciences by the Department of Science and Technology that have done incredible things. Now, for all the years that I've been hosting it, and I have been hosting it and honored to host it for the last couple of years, I've been introduced to some of the most unbelievable women that I had no idea were doing these things in South Africa. And what I am seeing is as the years go by, there are more and more young women in this. There are more and more graduates that are taking to it. And all these policies and all these campaigns to draw young girls into the fields of sciences and maths seems to be working. And that is very, very encouraging. And I think at this point we have to give the Department of Science and Technology a round of applause for promoting it the way that they do. So thank you. These women and the finalists and the winners here are role models to these young up-and-coming scientists that we need to inspire. Because we can't be good at everything, but I can tell you one thing that I've noticed through the years. South Africa has something special in the field of sciences. There's something great that we offer to the world, and we're recognizing it, and we're winning off of that, and I think that that's great. I don't know if you were also gifted a wonderful book in your room as you got there on your bed. I hope I'm not being the spoiled one here that only got this book. I don't think so. I'm sure you all got the book. Just showing the incredible inventions of South Africa. And we have to remind ourselves all the time, because we certainly remind ourselves at how bad we're doing at certain things. We always do. You just have to open up Twitter to understand how hard and how negative things are. But I think we need to promote the good, and that's what we're doing here this evening. We're locking up the Trumps of the world, and we're keeping the good in the world here tonight, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So these awards are here to provide incentives, and you'll hear the monetary prizes as we go along, and you'll see how these are providing incentives for younger women to pursue postgraduate studies through scholarships and fellowships as well. So WISA winners and finalists participate in various science engagements and activities throughout the year as part of Women's Month as well. So those things are some of the things that they will be doing, and it really is an exciting year for those that win and the projects that they get involved with. Now, this year takes on a very special theme, and as we all know, we've been hearing about it all year, but I think that tonight is the very first time that I can proudly stand up here being at a women's event, and an event that is solely recognizing incredible women that tonight we feel the presence of the late Albertina Sisulu. It is would have been her 100th birthday this year. In fact, on the 21st of October, which makes me even happier because I'm a Libran myself. So I like to surround myself with strong women, and I think that she is the epitome of a wonderful, strong women, the women that have gathered in this room as well. So the theme that we're looking at is 100 years of Albertina Sisulu, Women United in Moving South Africa Forward. That's what we're here to do, to move South Africa forward. The 2018 theme, United, all of us together, under that dream that Mama Sisulu had. She had great courage. She was one of those unifying leaders that South Africa needed at the time, and South Africa needs right now, in fact. During the apartheid era, she was a very, very strong voice when it came to women's rights, when it came to education especially, and healthcare. But in 1956, she was instrumental in that march to the Union buildings by 20,000 women that stood together being the operative word here, and they marched against the pass laws. They marched against the fact that black people had to carry a little book, otherwise they were thrown in jail. Now they marched against that. And this was an incredible moment in the history of South Africa. Her unwavering resilience saw her becoming the first woman to be arrested under the General Laws Amendment Act of 1963. Now, what this act actually did, it was gave the police power to hold suspects in detention for 90 days without charging them. And in Mama Sisulu's case, she was placed in solitary confinement for almost 2 months. A history that I'm not sure we talk enough about. And I hope now, during this month, during next month, and particularly during her centennial month, I know this year is dedicated to her, but we haven't spoken about her enough. We celebrate this woman, and we celebrate the strength that she stood for. However, as much as we celebrate her and what she has done, there's so much more that South African women need to do, and we saw that at the start of this month, when we all came together as women and we fought against the rampant abuse that women go through still in this country, whether we talk about violence, whether we talk about rape, whether we talk about unemployment or poverty, there are many issues that we need to fight against, and that we need to do, standing together as one sex, as the women of South Africa. And that's why we are here to applaud you women who are standing up above that and showing that you are making a difference. So well done, and congratulations again to all of you for being here tonight. So, let's give yourselves a round of applause. Tonight is extra special, and I keep saying that because usually we are in Johannesburg doing this event ceremony. For all the years that I have hosted, in fact, I might be wrong and quoted wrong, I think for all the years of its existence, the South African Women in Science Awards have been held in Johannesburg. Well, not tonight, baby. Oh no, we have brought you to Limpopo. Yes, we have. This is so nice to be here and to celebrate in Polokwane. So thank you so much for your hospitality. Thank you for welcoming us here this evening and to bring this award ceremony to people that are away from that big, bustling, wild city of Johannesburg and bring it out here and understand that science is attainable and that there are great things being done outside those major hubs of South Africa. And if I'm not mistaken, this just happens to be your home province as well, Minister. Is that correct? No, I got that wrong. Damn, okay. I was hoping I was right, but I'm not right. Okay. Well, this is the moment that I introduce the Minister to come up and address us this evening as the Minister of Science and Technology. She's been hopping around a little bit over the last year into different portfolios, but I think this is a very special one, and I'm sure she's enjoying being in this current portfolio as the Minister of Science and Technology. She, of course, is also a member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Before this portfolio, she was the Minister of Energy, and then she was redeployed to be my boss, the Minister of Communications. So it was great having her in that portfolio as well. So she's seen a lot over the last couple of months. She is a former SASCO and ANC Youth League leader in Gauteng. She started her career as a community developer in non-governmental organizations. She subsequently joined the banking sector as a skills development specialist. She then became a skills development manager in National Health Laboratory Services. When she joined the public sector, she became a director in the office of the President of South Africa, and then then later served as the parliamentary advisor to the then Deputy President of South Africa, Kgalema Motlanthe. She then became a parliamentarian, and prior to her appointment to a ministerial position, she served as a chairperson on the Portfolio Committee of Telecommunications and Postal Services. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from Vista University and a master's degree in management in public and development management from the University of the Witwatersrand. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, giving you her full CV, because this could be the first time that you're hearing from her as her capacity, but I don't think so as the Minister of Science and Technology. But a full introduction was needed this evening, and we are honored to have you here. Please welcome our Minister onto the stage.
Thank you very much, Lian, the Program Director. Let me acknowledge Umamu Ngema Zuma, the former First Lady, but as well Umamu, patron and the founder of the Ngema Zuma Foundation that has been doing wonderful work. I think most of us would have seen the work that she does, and I think it touches many lives, and I thought it's important. Sometimes we recognize our leaders and the women in their categories in supporting, but I think she's a distinguished woman in her own, so I thought it's important for me to do that. Our guest speaker, Dr. Sipati Makunyan. I'm not going to say much about, I call her Osipati. I'm not going to say much about her because she's going to be introduced later. Ambassadors who are here, high commissioners who are here with us, our sponsors, I'm sitting with representatives of Tata with us today, and the sponsors of Laurel who are here, VIP guests who are here, our DGs and DDGs. I almost didn't recognize my team this evening. They're looking good, I must say. When you work with people, so there's another side that you hardly see at times. So today I got exposed on another side. CEOs of our science councils, chairpersons who are here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to be here amongst you as we are about to honor the women who are doing great work in science and technology. Our theme this year is 100 Years of Albertina Sisulu, Women United in Moving South Africa Forward. We are very excited about this year, and we are looking forward to more and more singing, us being able to recognize Mama Sisulu and being able to say, this is who she is and stands, as Lian was reading her profile and who she is. I think many of us will get to really be exposed to this distinguished South African in her absence, though, as she has passed on, but I think her legacy lives on, and it's one of the women that we must really feel proud of, as many of us grow up looking up to her, looking at her values, and saying, indeed, if she was able to make it through, what would make us not succeed? We chose this theme because of you to know we are celebrating her centenary. And it requires us as well, as all of us as South Africans, especially women, to ask ourselves, who is Mama Sisulu? And ask ourselves, what does she, or what she stood for? What does the legacy of Mama Sisulu mean to us today? What is it that we must do to properly honor her legacy? Maybe just to allow me, Program Director, just to go a bit further and paint a picture of who Mama Sisulu was, and I decided to borrow a few words from an interview she did in 1989 as the political situation in South Africa was undergoing a fundamental change. Apartheid was on the brink of collapse. She said, I quote, "I was the First Lady, the only First Lady who was present in the first meeting when they were forming ANC Youth League. That in 1949 had a program of action. And in 1953, the government decided to give our children what they call Bantu education. We as women wouldn't take this. We organized other women against the Bantu education, and we closed the schools. We thought of forming an organization that will put all the women together so that at least our fight will be easy if we speak with one voice. Now, we formed an organization which was called Federation of South African Women in 1954. In 1955, we joined as Federation of South African Women the launching of the Freedom Charter in Kliptown. In 1956, we organized 20,000 women to go to Union Building and protest against Bantu education to our children and pass laws, unquote. You will also recall that she was also a founding member of the United Democratic Front, UDF, which was very instrumental in bringing apartheid to its knees. From what she said in that interview, it is clear that she was not only involved in almost all the seminal political moments in involving her generation, she was also passionate about the women emancipation and involvement of women in shaping society for the better. It is also evident that she is someone who was not only passionate about education, but she also understood the importance of good education. She led women in her community to fight against the bad education system that has caused a lot of damage in our country. Again, we should ask ourselves the question, more especially as women, what is it that we must do to properly honor her legacy? We are gathered here to celebrate women who through education and hard work are making a huge contribution towards knowledge production in our country. The South African Women in Science Awards have become symbolic for South Africa's celebration of Women's Month since their inception in 2003. The event has been growing in leaps and bounds over the years. The year 2018 marks the 15th edition of these awards. We have taken a decision to change a name of the awards from the Women in Science Awards, as everybody has known them, and it is now be called South African Women in Science Awards. I must allay your fears, it's not one of those things that we change because there's a new minister, I must say. We did this to avoid confusion with the Water Institute of South Africa, as many of us tend to know it as WISA in terms of the acronym. So we felt that it was necessary for us to distinguish these awards that we are having. Henceforth, these awards will be referred as SAWISA. So we just wanted to make sure that there is a distinction between WISA and SAWISA. But again, another thing I need to announce is that you recall that last month we launched the 64 antenna Meerkat, which is a huge milestone for science and astronomy in our country. To celebrate this milestone, we have decided to introduce a commemorative Meerkat Award to an outstanding woman astronomer. And this we're doing very specifically to say that we have traveled so much, and therefore this is one of the areas that we've got to be able to say, if we are doing well as South Africa, we must be able to find women in that field who are doing well. And this award will be given to a distinguished woman astronomer nominated by the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory. You'd know that this one was not part of, we couldn't get the nomination to process it in the manner that we process other nominations. So we had to get a nomination from the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory. Other changes we have made, which are in line with celebrating Mama Sisulu and her legacy, with permission from the Sisulu family. Unfortunately, they were not able to join us. I think they have been overwhelmed by a number of activities that are happening across the country. And this, we did accept their apology for this evening. The department has henceforth renamed the DST Fellowship Award to being DST Albertina Sisulu Awards. So those that have known the DST Fellowship Awards would know that from now on, they will be carrying the name of Mama Albertina, because we believe that her legacy needs to be living amongst us, and we must continue beyond celebrating 100 years to recognize her and have a legacy. In addition, the personal prizes have also been increased by 15,000 per award, I must announce. Hope the winners are looking forward to it. And Tata Africa has also increased the per capita values of the Tata Scholarship by 15,000 per award as well. So meaning from 60,000 to 75,000 this year. To further pay homage to Mama Sisulu's legacy, the DST will be establishing an Albertina Sisulu Sachi chair in nursing. It should be remembered. It should be remembered that Mama Sisulu trained as a nurse and encouraged graduates to use their learning to improve people's lives. The chair will deepen research in nursing policy and/or practice and contribute to the advancement of healthcare and the betterment of society. The research chair will be awarded to a university that is linked to a relevant health facility such as a hospital. In the coming months, we will initiate the process of making the chair active, and it will be subjected to authoritative peer review process run by the NRF. And we will be, I'm hoping a lot of us will be looking, those who are in the nursing space or know people who are in this field, will be looking for the call to be able to apply. In conclusion, Program Director, I wish to all the nominees for the various categories the best of luck. And I must say that you are all winners today. And I must also conclude by saying you're all looking beautiful. I'm with my husband who actually told me when I left that I look beautiful. So I must pass that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. And you do look extra beautiful. I do agree, sir. She looks lovely. And so do all the other women here, because I know when we call up the winners this evening, you'll see the fashion. The fashion, they bring it. Now, in order to get this trending, ladies and gentlemen, we need to use the hashtag, because there is a hashtag for this evening. So tweet what you look like. Tweet away. Come on. Let's get the world speaking about how beautiful our women scientists are. So the hashtag this evening is SA Women in Science Awards. So it's SAWISA 2018. SAWISA 2018. That's the hashtag. Please use it. Please use that hashtag, and we'll get trending tonight. I can promise you that if we keep on going. You can also follow at Department of Science, that DST.gov.za. All right, that's the Twitter account for the Department of Science and Technology. So your starters are already on the table. We want you to eat, and we're also going to have some wonderful entertainment this evening. So let me introduce them to you. They're going to entertain us during our starters, and they are the Shilombe Sha Batsonga. Give them a big round of applause.
Ediana DJ Teres, Ringo Mane, Bella Gamalo, Maraspelan Sokuba. You want a choice, one of mine.
point, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker this evening. And as the Minister referred, I'm going to give a great introduction and read a little bit of what our guest speaker has actually done and accomplished, which is exceptionally impressive, I must say. Dr. Sepati Makonyane, who is our guest speaker this evening, is the Chief Specialist and Head of Clinical Department of Ophthalmology at the Steve Biko Academic Hospital, University of Pretoria. A qualified ophthalmic, okay, my tongue does all these things in my mouth. I know I sound intelligent doing this, but it doesn't come easily, I have to tell you. She's an ophthalmic surgeon, and she has run a specialist private practice at Lesedi Private Hospital since 1994. She is a panel member of the South African Civil Aviation Authority Aeromedical Committee with a special interest in color vision in aviation. That is so interesting. And a member of the International Color Group, an advocacy group for occupations with color vision related tasks. She is a council member of the College of Medicine of South Africa and has served as a board member of the Fred Hollows Foundation South Africa, which is dedicated to ending avoidable blindness. She's, with all of her spare time, which doesn't sound like much, I suppose her great joy in life is being a devoted wife and mother and a licensed lay counselor and parish minister as well. She is beautiful, isn't it? She is the chaplain of the parish council at St. Monica's Anglican Church in Midrand. Now that is an impressive CV, if I have to admit that myself. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Dr. Sepati Makonyane.
Thank you very much. The Minister of Science and Technology, Mrs. Mamoloko Kubai Ngubane, the former First Lady Dr. Bongi Ngema Zuma and founder of the Bongi Ngema Zuma Foundation, Deputy Ministers present, Ambassadors and High Commissioners present, representatives of sponsors of the SAWISA, other VIPs present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. May I take this opportunity to express my gratitude for inviting me to address you at this not only prestigious, but inspiring ceremony. My heartfelt congratulations to the Department of Science and Technology for this initiative and for the annual ceremony that gives us the opportunity not only to reward and celebrate these esteemed women, but to pinpoint the good attributes and qualities that we see in them. This occasion also challenges us to reflect on the current situation in the world of science, research, and technology in our country, and also in the strides made in bridging the gaps that exist. We are also called upon to identify weaknesses in our education system and to address them as best as we can. This initiative affords us to cast our minds back to the history of women who demonstrated the power of unity towards a common goal. The majority of them having overcome and some even succumbed to serious struggles. Women who have made untold sacrifices, their bravery and resilience. Women who resisted all forms of repression. Women who sought to leave a rich legacy for us, who ran their race, who may or may not have finished well, and have now passed on the baton to us. We have gathered here to honor those women and to assure them that the baton is in good hands. Albertina Sisulu was in the leadership of that crop of women. She would have been 100 years old this year. Tonight, we remember her.
We acknowledge her focus on helping to unshackle South Africa from bondage and thereby setting us all free to lead normal lives. Any attempt to relate the story of her life will not do justice to her memory because there is so much to that life. That is why I will only highlight some aspects of her that stand out for me. Born on the 21st of October 1918 in the Transkei, Mama Nontsikelelo Albertina Tetiwe lost her father at a tender age of 11. As the eldest daughter, the responsibility of looking after her siblings and her ailing mother fell on her. This resulted in her being held back and losing a scholarship. She eventually received another scholarship but had to work during school holidays to support herself. Many women with great aspirations today, young and old, find themselves in similar circumstances. Albertina Sisulu converted to Catholicism and decided to become a nun. She was, however, advised to rather pursue nursing, a career she pursued at Johannesburg Hospital, under difficult circumstances, both politically and financially. During her life with her husband, Walter Sisulu, she had to multitask, supporting her family and husband, starting a career in politics, fighting for women's rights and issues related to gender inequality. All that is well known to us. But what is striking was her determination to complete her studies in nursing against all odds. The qualities that stood out for me in her biography, that I believe characterize women of substance, some of whom we are celebrating tonight, whose achievements and hard work we are rewarding, are her pursuit of excellence and integrity. These are fundamental attributes that we need not take lightly as we grapple with the means of addressing the challenge of the critical mass of inactive academics, referred to as the silent majority. This group comprises mainly academics at the lecturer and senior lecturer bands, many of whom are Black women. We have a responsibility to understand the apparent inertia in this group, to identify enablers to increasing the number, diversity, and representativeness at institutional levels and thereby augmenting the number and quality of women in science. Let us take after the likes of Albertina Sisulu and pursue excellence and integrity at individual and institutional levels. There is a need to go back to basics. We need to go back to the drawing board. Women need to understand who they are. They need to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that as a woman, you have what it takes to succeed in whatever you set your mind on. As women, we ought to understand the potential and the greatness that lie within us. We need to embrace the practice of self-acceptance, self-responsibility, self-care, self-assertiveness, of living purposefully, and the philosophy of self-esteem. Even though our racial past, as well as the patriarchal system, made us believe that we are inferior, this knowledge of who we are and what on earth our purpose is should come naturally to us. It may take long periods of introspection, of unlearning some scripts, of internalizing healthy ways of looking at ourselves, of examining our past, of confronting a myriad of monsters within and around us, and of honestly standing before our Creator to ask, who am I and why am I here now? None can fully answer this question for any of us except one's Creator, because it's only the manufacturer that knows the true value and the purpose of his or her product. I believe our institutions of learning should play a pivotal role in empowering and encouraging women to undertake this personal journey of self-discovery. I find it quite encouraging to see how the Department of Science and Technology, together with our institutions of higher learning, are engaged in issues of transformation and revisiting our various cultures, a clear indication that introspection is taking place. This fundamental process needs to be undertaken by each and every one of us in order that we can move forward as a healthy and strong collective, working towards moving South Africa forward. The second attribute towards personal success and societal growth, development, and empowerment is integrity. The ability to stay true to one's convictions and principles. This quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, doing the right thing at all times and in all circumstances, whether or not someone is watching, is what underpins good character, a flawless reputation, and positive influence. In their academic paper entitled Integrity, a positive model that incorporates the normative phenomenon of morality, ethics, and legality, Michael Jensen and Werner Enhard explore a new model of integrity as the state of being whole and complete, unbroken, sound, unimpaired, and in perfect condition. This model suggests that integrity is linked to excellence in performance, quality of life, and value creation. Disciplines and fields with an interest in integrity include philosophy of action, philosophy of medicine, mathematics and mind, material science, structural engineering, and politics. It takes a woman of integrity to excel and be counted among the best. It takes an institution that upholds integrity to excel and be counted among the best. May we therefore strive towards the state of wholeness that our integrity should never be questioned. In whatever we plan to do, we should keep in mind that we are not a separate entity as a country. We are a global player and competitor. Our actions impact the whole humanity throughout the world. To compete effectively at international levels, we need to pursue excellence, the kind of excellence that is being celebrated tonight. Foundations of the form of excellence I'm referring to are seen in individuals who espouse and esteem moral strength of greater value than beauty, riches, or fame. These foundations are also seen in individuals of character who demonstrate uncompromising integrity throughout the situations of life, in individuals of character who know that each test that comes drives her closer to or further away from her higher purpose. Similarly, institutions that esteem the health and wellness of their personnel typically demonstrate uncompromising integrity throughout the challenges they face and believe that each test that comes drives them to or further away from their vision and mission. Pursuing excellence begins with a choice, both at an individual level and as a collective. To the women that you are honoring and celebrating tonight, I would like to leave you with the reminder that the decisions, the choices you make today, minor or major, mundane or critical, determine tomorrow's circumstances, not only circumstances around you, but of many people around you. The consequence of each choice made today will outlive you. In other words, the ripple effect of your choices of hard work, perseverance, and commitment today will be felt more intensely and will be fully appreciated by the generations to come. This means that who you are and what your purpose is not really about you. It's about the many generations that are still to come after us. It's the legacy you leave behind. I would like to once more draw your attention to the theme of this year's awards, 100 Years of Albertina Sisulu, Women United in Moving South Africa Forward. The word I want to focus on is unity, connectedness. As women, especially in the workplace, and in particular women with scarce skills such as you possess, we should know that we are not traveling through this universe by ourselves. As we celebrate your achievements tonight, please remember that you stand on the shoulders of women who were here before us, who have paved the way for us all in many ways. Some of those women even lost their lives prematurely in the process. One of those women is the acclaimed Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe, who died late last week. Opportunities are available to you and I because Mama Albertina Sisulu, Mama Veronica Sobukwe, and all those women made sacrifices. Let us celebrate them and never forget our roots. There are thousands of women who are looking up to you for guidance, encouragement, and motivation. Research has shown that there are many women lecturers who cited common barriers to advancement of research as heavy workloads and lack of mentors. As accomplished women scientists and researchers, you have a responsibility to mentor others and point your sisters in the right direction. Pave the way for them, lead them, take them by the hand, become an oasis for them, give your water to the thirsty. As I conclude, I remember a saying that behind every successful woman, there is another woman mopping up after her. These are the women we as career women, especially academics, scientists, cannot do without. Women who leave their own children very early in the morning and return home late at night in order to be on time at work, taking care of our children and our homes, enabling us to excel in our own vocations. Cleaners in our buildings and offices who make sure that floors are mopped, windows are cleaned, our offices are in tip-top condition before we arrive at work, enabling you and I to excel in our chosen careers. Take time to talk to them. Acknowledge them. Pray for their families. Support them in whichever way you can. Although some feminists march in Australia raised a poster that read, "In front of every successful woman is a greedy man taking all the credit. My request tonight is that we do not ignore or downplay the role of supportive men in our lives, both at work and at home. The men who have encouraged you and cheered you on in your endeavors. Let us thank them. In conclusion, I would like to leave you with a summary of a story I heard from one of the TEDx talks. A story of the root system, connectedness of the trees in the redwood forest in California. Redwood trees are the largest in the planet and have been standing for centuries, enduring massive windstorms and devastating earthquakes. Interestingly, their roots don't grow deep. But without the deep root system, how do they keep standing? The underground secret of the redwood forest is that the roots reach outward, seeking the roots of other redwood trees. When they meet, they intertwine, forming permanent bonds with one another. This means that all the redwoods are either directly or indirectly giving support to one another. Unity is their strength. They reach out to care for one another. The roots of the young redwood trees are protected and nurtured by the ancient giants. The lesson from this story to humanity is that the real strength lies in our willingness to care for and support one another. May we, like the redwood trees, reach out and support one another. God bless you all, and thank you.
That was absolutely incredible. Thank you very, very much. But before you sit, I'm going to ask you, unfortunately, to come back up those stairs. We just want to give you a token of appreciation for being with us this evening and inspiring us so much. I'm going to ask Morangwa Lebepe to come up and give you this beautiful bouquet of flowers for those words that you've left us with. Thank you very much, Dr. Makunyane.